The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, King County, Washington, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 36542. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting at the front bumper, you'll notice on the passenger and driver's side, electronic siren. Moving just inside of that location, you'll find dual air horns. Moving toward the center of the apparatus on the face of the front bumper is where you'll find your mechanical siren. Right next to that, you'll find your unit identifier E329. As we move up onto the cab itself, you'll find on the outer edge marker, turn indicator lights, and headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights. Just above that, emergency warning lights. And at the very top section, just below the windshield, you'll find grab handles for gaining access to the windshield. There are 3 windshield wipers across the seamless one-piece windshield. As we move to the outer edge, you'll find a mirror housing a flat and convex mirror. As we move up to the brow of the apparatus, you'll find 5 ID clearance lights. And then moving further up, you'll find a forward-facing brow light. And then as we move up onto the top of the roof, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Located with inside the light bar is where you'll find your Opticom in the very center area. Moving further up above the light bar is where you'll find the 2 controlled go lights located at the very top section on the passenger and driver side. Here's some close-ups of the items we just talked about. First, on the outer edge, you'll find a emergency warning light side-facing, and then also you'll find on the passenger and driver side a side-facing camera. General view here of the entire side of the apparatus from the driver's perspective. We'll take a close look here at the cab area, and then we'll move now to the body section and pump section. As we move around to the rear of the apparatus, we'll identify items within this area in the next few moments. Let's move around to the passenger side, full view, and then also let's take a look at the body section, midsection, or pump panel area. And then as we move forward, we'll look at the cab, passenger side. Let's go ahead and start now with the driver's side, move inside the cab area. Let's first start with the door panel. Affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information are located here. Also, you'll find door lock and latch, electric window controls, grab handle, and a pouch for storing information here about your vehicle. Let's move down to the stepwell area where you'll find your auto charge system. When plugged into Shoreline Power, this will become active. As we look a little bit closer, you'll find also at the very top section your engine heater indicator and switch, and then also an air inlet. Let's move to about the right ankle of the operator as you're sitting in the seat. Against the vertical wall is where you're going to find this yellow placard indicating the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflations, also the VIN number and all fluid capacities for each component, fluid capacity, and also fluid capacity type. Let's move to about the left knee of the operator. That's where you'll find the master battery switch. It is a quarter turn. It's the silver knob. As we move to the right, you'll find the tech module, engine, transmission, and ABS diagnostic port. Just beneath that, you're going to find ABS diagnostics, DPF regen, engine diagnostic, regen inhibit, and then also the display port. Let's move to the steering wheel where your vehicle is equipped with SRS, a supplemental restraint system located within the steering column. That's an airbag. Let's move up to the dash cluster. Just to the left, you'll find the start and ignition switch. Moving to the right, you'll find a switch labeled EM, which stands for Emergency Master, that will engage and disengage all emergency lights. Headlight and panel switch. To the right, you'll find the high idle indicator and OK to engage high idle switch. As we move up to the dash cluster, you'll find water, oil pressure, def level, and transmission temp.
To the right, you'll find volts, fuel, front air, rear air. Located in the center, we have a tachometer and speedometer. Above those, you're going to find diagnostic engine information will display above and below the speedometer. Let's move just to the right of the operator area. At the very center area is where you're going to find at the top your Pierce command zone. Moving to the right, you have a rotate and push for fluid for windshield wipers. Also a set of switches, which we'll go over in just a moment. Your pull to apply your system parking brake, which is the yellow diamond. Just to the right, Allison transmission pad. And then further down is where you'll find your pump shift down at the lower section, and then also your mirror control. As we look to the pump shift, just as a reminder, 2 green indicators. There are instructions on it for pump and also operation for road. This is your Pierce command zone. Tremendous amount of information right here at your fingertips. Please see the owner's manual for more information. Engine brake on and off, settings for low, medium, and high on the engine brake, an all-wheel lockup, air dump, that's for your rear, and also tire chains and also off-road traction. The tire chain is a protected switch. As we move further down, you'll find the flat mirror and convex mirror control. Also on the transmission, we do have an informational note to pump in drive, also some caution information just to the right. As we look overhead, you'll find this yellow placard indicating the height of the vehicle, 10 feet 4 inches, the length of the vehicle, 30 feet 10.5 inches, and then the gross vehicle weight rating 46,500 pounds. You'll also find some switches to the right, which is the emergency master, high beam flash, Opticom, load manager, deck lights, and siren brake for your EQ2B. We also have switches for scene lights. We have front scene, driver's side scene, officer scene, rear scene, the perimeter lighting, and then also a mirror heat. When any of these lights are activated or switches are activated, the green light will illuminate within each switch. You'll also find the traffic advisor just to the right of that location. As we move down to the dash, this is the control module for the Go light located on the very top section above the light bar, which is your spotlight. Climate control, heat, air conditioning, and defrost module. Moving just to the right, you'll find your Sigtronics Intercom system module. And then as we move just overhead, you'll find this red puck indicating do not move your apparatus. When flashing, you may have a compartment open or also ladder rack down. As we move to the rear seat behind the driver, you'll find your override for your manual cab tilt. You'll also find positive and negative 12-volt access, your unit radio, also a speaker with volume control on it for your backup camera system. Let's move exterior now to the front axle area where you'll find a sight gauge, Alcoa wheel, and then Goodyear tires. As we move to the rear cab wall, here is where you'll find your auto eject shoreline inlet. As we move into the cab, affixed to the door panel, once again, safety and warning placard information, door lock, latch, grab handle, and electric window controls. Overhead, push on and off white or red lens lights. As we move toward the center section, you'll find the heater locations in the lower sections of the seat and EMS compartment. In the center, you'll find additional storage location. As we move just down from this location, lift and turn latch gains you access into the daily checks for your oil and transmission location. As we move to the rear cab wall, you'll find an additional storage location. Then as we move to the rear section on each side, you'll find additional storage with netting and also lighting within those compartments. You'll also find 12-volt barrel style access within that compartment area. As we move to the lower section, you'll find 12-volt bus bar located in the lower section, and then also an attachment point for additional tool storage. There is a shoreline outlet located in this area also. And as we move just underneath is where you'll find the battery charger. When plugged into shoreline power, this becomes active. This is the shoreline inlet 20 amp auto eject. Once again on the exterior wall. As we move downward from that, you'll find D handle gains you access into a compartment in the lower section of the cab area. Let's go ahead and move now to the upper portion of the cab area, where you'll find at the top section an emergency warning light side facing. Also LED water tank level indicator, and on the rear cab wall you'll find a pull light adjustable that rotates. Let's go ahead and move to the pump panel area. Let's first start at the left where the crosslays are located. There are 3 located here. As we move to the section below the crosslays, you'll find a step location and then also badging indicating the type of crosslay each of those are. As we move to the main pump section, you'll find the intake and discharge. These are your master gauges. As we move further down, you'll find a warning placard in the upper left corner, entanglement hazard because of those lines coming from aloft. There is your pressure throttle governor located in the center. Also, just beneath that, you'll find an audible alarm. The outer edge of that bezel does rotate to allow you to brighten or dampen the sound. Also, when properly engaged, the pump OK light will indicating your pump is properly engaged. We have recirculating line and engine cooler. Those are both twist, not pull. As we move to the right, you'll find your Husky foam system module. It is the red module here. There are instructions on its face for operation. Just to the right, the foam level A indicator, and then further to the right is the tank fill. Let's go ahead and move further down on the pump panel, where we'll find first at the very top section, these are going to be for your crosslays. These are discharges. Moving further down, you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharges. Also, as you move to the right, you'll find the blue module, which is your water tank level indicator. Also, a warning placard indicating when climbing onto the vehicle, always face the vehicle while climbing onto it. As we move further down, you'll find an additional warning regarding pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. To the right, you'll find the fire pump primer. There is an auto prime, auto off, and prime mode. Just beneath that, your tank to pump. As we move back up to the primer, you'll find instructions for its operation. As we move to the left, you'll find 2 electric valves. They are clearly color-coded and labeled. Also, your minimum operation maintenance schedule placard, which we'll go over in just a few moments. Your Husky 3 foam system specifications and also instructions placard, and then also an air inlet and air supply. As we move to the left, you'll find only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment. That's only after proper training. Just to the right, you'll find the main pump inlet. As we move further down, you'll find the auxiliary pump inlet. As we move to the right, you'll find the placard indicating the minimum operation maintenance schedule, and we'll go over that once again in your manual pump shift, which is just below the tank to pump. As we move further down, you'll find the red placard indicating the type of pump you have, which is a Watrous. And as we move to the right, you'll find your pump drain. Let's go ahead and move further down onto the pump panel. We'll start first, once again, auxiliary inlet on your left, all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. As we move back to the Watrous placard at the very top section, just as a reference point, moving just to the right, you're going to find your foam fill operations and also a informational placard here regarding foam failure. Do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam. As we move to the right inside the pan door is where you'll find your foam fill lever or operations. Let's go back to the red placard for your Watrous. You have a 2000 GPM pump. As we move back to the minimum operation maintenance schedule for 150, 200, and 250 PSI, that is the test pressure. On the left, you'll find the associated GPM for that test pressure, and on the right, the associated RPM for that test pressure, with a job number in the upper left-hand corner and governed speed 2130. Also inside that pan door, you'll find the foam drain, quarter turn, and then also the yellow handle indicating the information regarding either in operation mode or in foam fill mode. As we move to the lower section of the running board area, you'll find a cutout for hose storage and also 2 fold down steps. Underneath this area, you'll find the foam pump discharge drain and foam pump intake drain. As we move back up into the compartments on the body, let's start first with the one right next to the pump panel. You'll find 3 shelves, and also at the very top section, Shoreline power outlet here, and then also 12-volt blocks. As we move down, you'll find SCBA bottle storage with retaining strap. You'll also find, as we move to the rear section, you're going to find your def and fill location for your ultra low sulfur diesel. You'll also find the rear axle with Alcoa wheels and Goodyear tires. Let's move back up to the top portion here, where you'll find the blue cap. This is the 4.5 US gallon def tank. As we move that flap, you'll move it to the silver cap, which is your ultra low sulfur diesel fill location. Let's go ahead and move around to the rear compartment, where you'll find, once again, adjustable shelving, LED lighting, dry deck material in the lower section. In this compartment also you'll find a shoreline outlet. As we move up to the top section, 12-volt DC block. All compartments now in the open position so you can visualize. And then let's move around to the rear of the apparatus. Let's start first in the upper left-hand corner. You'll find pike pole storage, back pole storage, and then also additional crosslays and your main supply line. In the upper left is where you'll find your recessed backup camera and also an emergency warning light. Moving further down on that panel is where you're also going to find all of our switches for rear scene lights, rear suspension air dump, and then also rear deck lights and hosebed lights. As we move to the center section, we're going to find our 2.5-inch rear pre-connect, and then also the 1 3/4 rear pre-connect. Also some additional warning placards regarding fall. Do not ride on the vehicle while it's in motion. If you're climbing onto the vehicle, always face the vehicle while climbing onto it. And then also entanglement hazard. Lines, because they're coming from a loft, is the possibility of entanglement. As we move down in the lower section, you'll find a pull-out tray and an adjustable shelf. The release mechanism for that is on the lower right-hand side. It will lock into position. Let's move back up to the right-hand side of the rear section, where you'll find your storage location for your attic ladder and then also long-handled tool storage. As we move just under the tailboard in the rear, you'll find a 9,000-pound maximum allowable winch rating, and then also all of your 12-volt trailer adapters. And in the center, you'll find the Hitch Receiver. Let's move up to the top of the apparatus, where you'll find yellow indicators indicating the edge of the walking surface. These are reflective diamonds for firefighter safety. As we look into the rear section now with the hose bed cover open, also additional cover in the forward section dunnage area. In that section, we're going to find our water tank fill location and foam tank A fill location. Just a reminder that there is a warning placard on that. Do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure. We do have additional access points so you don't have to lift the entire dunnage area compartment. And also hatch compartments on each side, LED lighting, dry deck material inside. We'll go ahead and go through those hatch compartments now. Let's move forward of the dunnage area, which is just in front of the water fill location, where you're going to find your Husky 3 foam system and then also reservoir. In the lower corner is where you'll find the fill location for the hydraulic fluid. As we move to the center section, you'll find your master stream device. As we move just to the right, you'll find your booster or red line. And then as we move to the cab section, you'll find some additional warning placards. This is indicating a non-walking surface, and that's why we have these warning placards located here. Top section here of your apparatus showing the forward-facing emergency warning light. As we move around now to the side of the vehicle, we'll start with the compartments, where you'll find 12-volt DC connection locations, negative and positive. As we move just inside the compartment, you'll also find shoreline outlet and then also 12-volt access via bus. As we move to the center section, you'll find SCBA and oxygen bottle storage with retaining straps. And in the upper section of that compartment is for tool storage locations. As we move to the very bottom, once again, Alcoa wheels and Goodyear tires. Moving forward to that location, SCBA bottle storage with retaining strap. I would like to point out this lower section just in front of the rear axle is your exhaust. Extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist. Be cautious where you choose to park your vehicle. As we move forward to that location, you'll find adjustable trays. and a pull-out tray in the lower section. Also in this upper section, you're going to find a Shoreline Power outlet. Once again, when plugged into Shoreline Power, these outlets will become active. Now to the pump panel section. This is the area where you'll access your booster or red line. Rear cab wall, we're going to find that pole light. Also on the rear cab, we're going to find LED water tank level indicator and emergency warning light. Same configuration as the driver's side. Additional warning placard information regarding entanglement hazard because those lines coming from aloft. As we move through, you also have a warning regarding fall. Always face the vehicle while climbing onto it. As we move through some of the items here, first cab lift, there are instructions for its operations for lift and also lower, and we do have some warning placards. Also, your powered equipment rack is located within the cutout location here. There are instructions for its operation also. To the right, you'll find a warning regarding entanglement and also pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. As we move to the pan door, you'll find your relief valve settings on the relief valve itself. Back to the powered equipment rack, once again to raise and to lower instructions and also danger because it is a moving device. Let's go ahead and move down on the pump panel where you'll find our discharge drains, clearly color-coded and labeled just as they are in this location here. Auxiliary 2.5-inch passenger side, female, locally controlled at the ball valve. As we move to the cutout section here of the running board, additional hose storage, dry deck, and Velcro retaining straps. As we move to the rear section of the cab, same configuration with the compartment in the lower section. Let's go ahead and go inside the cab now in the rear section of the cab crew area. First, we'll start with the door panel, a fixed door panel, safety and warning placard information, center mounted seat, additional storage locations on each side of the seat, and then also directly behind the officer seat, additional storage location. Netting material and also LED lighting inside those compartments. As we move just underneath the seat on the pedestal, you'll find USB plugs on the lift and turn latches. As we move to the outside exterior, you have exterior compartment access via the officer side. Inside that compartment, you'll find 12-volt barrel style, and then also when plugged into Shoreline Power becomes active. At the very bottom, Goodyear tire, Alcoa wheels, and in the center is the visual sight gauge for the axle. And as we move to the officer section, we'll go inside this area. First, let's start with the door panel, a fixed door panel, safety and warning placard information, also door lock and latch, window control, and a grab handle, and then also your storage container pouch. Your vehicle is equipped with a supplemental strength system, forward impact. This is the location of that airbag. To the right on the A pillar is where you're going to find your fill location for your windshield wiper fluid. Just a reminder, mounting of any equipment in this area is not advised. Also, you'll find a parking brake located on the officer side. As we move just to the left of this location, 12-volt access via USB style and also barrel style. This is also the location for your control module for your go light over the officer seat location. Also, you'll find on a swivel your code 3 siren and also unit radio, mechanical siren and mechanical siren brake. Once again, moving overhead, we do have our placard indicating the height, length, and gross vehicle weight rating your vehicle. Also a digital readout for the vehicle speedometer. As we move through the switches here, you're going to find front scene, driver's side scene, officer scene, rear scene, perimeter lights, and then momentary opticom. Once again, when any of these switches have been activated, the green light will illuminate, indicating that it is active. You'll also find a unit stereo. There are speakers in the front and also in the rear. Tire pressure management system also located in the officer space, indicating the tire pressure for all 6 wheels. Compartments now all in the open position for visualization. Cab in the full tilt upright position. When the cab is in this position, there is a locking mechanism bar located on the driver's side frame rail. As we look to the right, you can see the locking bar located here. It is currently in the stowed position. The next set of images are going to help those identify items within your chassis area. This will conclude the images of your chassis area. Congratulations, King County, Washington, on your new Pierce fire apparatus. Job number 36542-01 and 02. If you have any questions, please contact your Hughes Fire Sales Representative. Thank you and congratulations.